What's going on, my babies? Welcome back to another episode of The Spiritual Word. As always, I apologize for any noises in the background in advance and anything of that nature. Sorry if you can hear my fan. And I also want to start these off with a disclaimer by stating that these are for entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research to come to your own conclusions, to have your own answers, to make your own decisions, and I believe in your ability to do so and to be your own person. So, in the last episode, I was going to talk about synchronicities. So I decided that I was going to make that a whole separate episode just because I can rant and rant about all this shit. So, synchronicities are the universe's way of communicating with you, although you don't take it as communication because you just see them as coincidences or you see them. I never really understood when spiritual people would say, oh, this would happen to me and these coincidences would always occur and I would always see like repeated things. I never really looked at repetition the same way, or synchronicities, the same way as pairs of something. Or, when I looked at the timestamp, it was 111. So, I'm trying to convey the fact that synchronicities could be a multitude of different things. It could be, for example, a lot of people, they start off with angel numbers. And that's like the really condensed version of what I'm talking about, which is synchronicities, right? Like if I look at the time on my laptop is 324, and for me, numbers that are in order, even if they're not in actual order, those I consider like a synchronicity. But I don't always take them as synchronicity because I'm kind of a skeptic, even with all of the things that I've witnessed and all of the things that I've experienced. I feel like being a human, you naturally have doubt. Like it's a natural occurring thing, especially around people who are very doubtful people, which I feel like you can't really get away from, especially just because, like, if you go to the store and they don't have something that another person wants, you hear them like, oh, they don't have what I want, you know? Like, I hear that shit a lot. But besides that, because I'm getting off topic, I always get off topic. So synchronicities themselves, you don't really think about as like pairs per se, or triplets per se. Like for example, if I see a duck walk across the street, and then I go to the next street and I see a duck walk across the street, and then I go to the next street and I see a duck walk across the street, and I'm like, how many ducks are here, and why didn't they cross at the same place? You know, so you don't recognize them as being like repetition, right? Synchronicities, it literally means like a repeating thing. And so I never really took synchronicities as a repeating thing. I thought that synchronicities were just the same thing, like a linear, like a line, right? And thinking about it in a way that's not linear is, I'm not going to lie to you, it's a little bit hard, right, to think about things in a non-linear sense because we're taught to think about things linear, but it's not. So synchronicities could be a multitude of different things. Like I had just said, you see a duck cross the street, go to the next street, see another duck crossing the street, and then you go to the next street, see a duck crossing the street, or maybe you see ducks all day. You see a duck on somebody's Jeep, because people who have Jeeps, they trade ducks, rubber ducks. And so you see a rubber duck, and you're like, oh, that's so funny. I like that little duck. And then you go somewhere else and someone has like a duck bracelet. Or, they have like a little charm bracelet that has a bunch of ducks on it, but like specifically rubber ducks, right? And then you go to work or you go to school, and then somebody there has earrings of rubber ducks. That's what synchronicities are. It's something that's kind of continuously happening, and it's like little hints. It's kind of like, I like to think of it as the universe is leaving you breadcrumbs, and you're just following the breadcrumbs. And so a lot of the times I try not to use synchronicities to answer questions that I have, because the universe is not trying to give you the answer, if that makes sense. Like, for example, if you're sitting there and you're like, is this person my soulmate? Is this person my soulmate? And you're like, universe, answer the question, is this person my soulmate? They're not going to answer the question. or the universe is not going to give you the answer, right? It's kind of like cheating on a test. The teacher's not going to give you the answer. The teacher's going to point in the direction of the answer instead of actually giving you the answer. And so that's what synchronicities do. They point you in the direction that you're supposed to be going in. And so you will see a lot of synchronicities when you are in flow. And you will even see synchronicities when you're not in flow. But the synchronicities that you will see will be red light synchronicities. And I talk about red light synchronicities. And those synchronicities will be either like a multitude of different things that fall out of place. Like, for example, you'll meet a group of people that you don't want to be around. Like, for example, these people are just very, very not your type of people. Like, you don't get along with them. You're constantly arguing on your views, or you just don't agree with the views, and you don't see a benefit of being around these people, or these people don't push you to grow in any way, shape, and form, or they're not, they don't vibe with you, they don't feel good to be around, or it'll be something along the lines of, what's a good example of this? I always hate talking about red light synchronicities because there's a difference between having challenges and red light synchronicities. Like, for example, red light synchronicities are like having red lights as you're driving to school or to work. Every single light that you're getting to is red. That is a red light synchronicity because it's trying to get you to take a different road. But you don't know what that road is because you're not consciously aware of where you're supposed to be going. You know what I mean? Like, the universe has its own plan for you because you are not in control, but your ego really wants that control. Your ego wants what it wants. It wants whatever, like, if you want, let's say, what's something that I could say? If you want to travel the world or something, and you want to do it your way, you're going to be mad at the universe if it's not the way that you want to do it, because your ego wants to do it this way, not that way, right? Like, for example, your ego is a lot like a little kid that doesn't understand when it's being told no versus being told hold on, right? Like, if you were a little kid and your parents bought you toys and you're in the car and you're like, mom, dad, can I open this in the car? Can I open this in the car? And they're like, no, you have to wait till we get home. That's just a small pause, right? To you, it doesn't register that way. To a little kid, it does not register the hold on, let's wait till we get home the same way. It registers it as no, you can't, right? It registers it as no, I can't open this, and I really, really, really want to, so I might just break the rule, right? That's what your ego is constantly doing. And so a red light synchronicity is, for example, let's use the same analogy. You are a little kid. Your ego is that little kid that wants to open the toy in the car right now. Or better yet, you want to open the toy in the store. A red light synchronicity would be you see the toy and your mom snatches it out of your hand because she already knows what you're thinking. She already knows you're trying to open this before you get out of the store, right? So she grabs it and she's like, oh, this is good. Like, I see this, I recognize you, I see you, I see what you want. Let's go to check this out, okay? We're going to take it out of the store, but we are going to get it. That's what a red light synchronicity is. A red light synchronicity is a redirection. So you have to follow the redirections. And if you're not following the redirections, then you feel very lost. And you feel really annoyed or very angry or agitated, or you feel very upset, or you feel very sad, or you feel very anxious, or you feel overwhelmed. It's all of these senses of like dread, right? Whatever you feel when you feel dread, you're like that. That's the difference between a red light synchronicity and having challenges. versus a challenge being like you're a kid whose parents doesn't have enough money to get this toy, so you're like, I'm gonna get this toy no matter what. So if that means I'm stealing this toy, I'm stealing the toy. That is a challenge, right? Because you don't have a way of getting it, but you're gonna figure it out. Although I don't recommend stealing, right? Like your little kid self would probably want to steal, not that stealing is justified. But the kids, they don't know any better. Just like your ego doesn't know any better, even though you're fully grown, whatever age you are, So you have to recognize those types of things, and you have to recognize those types of patterns, because those types of patterns are what you're going to continuously see, although you don't recognize what they are in the moment. And so red light synchronicities are just a redirection. It's getting red light after red light after red light after red light. You can't open the toy in the store. You can't open the toy in the car. But when you get home, you can open it. So just wait. Wait a little bit and see where this thing is leading you. And the synchronicities are the breadcrumbs. And when I looked at the timestamp, again, it was 11:11. So you have to recognize those things and those types of patterns. And you don't really recognize those patterns when you're in the patterns. So you have to really be patient with these synchronicities and just note. It doesn't have to be a conscious thought of oh, I'm in flow. But it could be just a good reminder to be oh, you know what? The universe is trying to say hi to me. I'm saying hi to myself. How fun. Just enjoy that lightheartedness, because when you're following all of these breadcrumbs, you know that you're headed in the right direction. You don't necessarily know what's in store for you, but you know that it's a good thing because you're leading yourself. You know what I mean? You know that you're going to be taken care of if your mom's like, oh, let me see this toy. You know what? It's a good price. Let's get it. You know you're in good hands. You're excited for it later, right? You're excited because you are going to get to see that toy, that thing that you want. And sometimes, for example, if you couldn't wait for Christmas because you'd get a lot of presents, or you couldn't wait for your birthday, or you couldn't wait to get a gift, something along those lines, right? That gift, the anticipation of getting that gift is really what you enjoy, not the gift itself, because the gift itself, you get tired of. It's the feelings that they create, right? The whole reason that you want a toy is to feel fun, feel that excitement that is fun to play with a toy. So you have to recognize what synchronicities are and what red light synchronicities are, because they're not a bad thing. They happen to everybody. Sometimes there are a lot of minor inconveniences, but those are just challenges. So it's not telling you this is not meant for you. It's not telling you no, because a lot of the times people will think that red light synchronicities are the universe telling you no, bad, no, that's not for you. But it's actually the universe being like, okay, I see you, but we're doing this right now, okay? So work with me a little. And your ego is like, fuck no, I don't want to do that because I'm grown. You don't tell me what to do, right? Your ego loves fighting. At least my ego loves fighting. So anyways, I think I'm gonna end this here, just because synchronicities and red light synchronicities are pretty basic, pretty simple, once you understand them at a deeper level. And so you can go back. I have more episodes on red light synchronicities and regular synchronicities, and I also talk about angel numbers and the way to use angel numbers if you really want to have questions answered through the universe. You can ask for specific signs, and the universe will be like, I see you, I recognize you, let's send an answer, or let's not send an answer, because you have to wait and see. So I have more episodes on this. If you're interested in going through those, it's also in the Spirituality for Dummies. It's also in this season. So you can go back and, find those. They're very easy to find. I have 20 episodes this season. So with that being said, thanks for tuning in and tapping in. I'm end this here. As always, my babies, I love you and I appreciate you. And if you're interested in spirituality, psychology, science, self-help, and philosophy, those are my main 5 topics. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in and tapping in, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.